Continuing the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis, according to the Jerusalem Bible translation. Joseph's cup in Benjamin's sack. Joseph gave this order to his chamberlain: "Fill these men's sacks with as much food as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of his sack. And put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest one's sack, as well as the money for his grain." He carried out the instructions Joseph had given. When morning came and it was light, the men were sent off with their donkeys. They had scarcely left the city and had not gone far before Joseph said to his chamberlain, "Away now and follow those men. When you catch up with them, say to them, 'Why did you reward good with evil? Is this not the one my Lord uses for drinking and also for reading omens? What you have done is wrong.'" So when he caught up with them, he repeated these words. They asked him, What does my Lord mean? Your servants would never think of doing such a thing. Look, the money we found in the mouths of our corn sacks we brought back to you from the land of Canaan. Are we likely to have stolen silver or gold from your master's house? Whichever of your servants is found to have it shall die, and we ourselves shall be slaves of my Lord." "Very well then," he replied, "it shall be as you say. The one on whom it is found shall become my slave, but the rest of you can go free." Each of them quickly lifted his corn sack to the ground, and each opened his own. He searched them, beginning with the eldest and ending with the youngest, and found the cup in Benjamin's sack. Then they tore their clothes, and when each man had reloaded his ass, they returned to the city. When Judah and his brothers arrived at Joseph's house, he was still there, so they fell on the ground in front of him. "What is this deed you have done?" Joseph asked them. "Did you not know that a man such as I am a reader of omens?" "What can we answer, my lord?" Judah replied. "What can we say? How can we clear ourselves? God himself has uncovered your servant's guilt. Here we are, then, my lord's slaves, we no less than the one in whose possession the cup was found." "I could not think of doing such a thing," he replied. "The man in whose possession the cup was found shall be my slave, but you can go back safe and sound to your father." Judah intervenes. Then Judah went up to him and said, "May it please your lord, let your servant have a word privately with my lord. Do not be angry with your servant, for you are like Pharaoh himself." My lord questioned his servants, "Have you father or brother?" And we said to my lord, "We have an old father and a younger brother born of his old age. His brother is dead, so he is the only one left of his mother, and his father loves him." Then you said to your servants, "Bring him down to me, that my eyes may look on him." We replied to my lord, "The boy cannot leave his father. If he leaves him, his father will die." But you said to your servants, "If your youngest brother does not come down with you, you will not be admitted to my presence again." When we went back to your servant, my father, we repeated to him what my lord had said. So when our father said, "Go back and buy us a little food," we said, "We cannot go down. If our youngest brother is with us, we will go down, for we cannot be admitted to the man's presence unless our youngest brother is with us." So your servant, our father, said to us, "You know that my wife bore me 2 children. When one left me, I said that he must have been torn to pieces, and I have not seen him to this day. If you take this one from me too, and any harm comes to him, you will send me down to Sheol with my white head bowed in misery. If I go to your servant my father now, and we have not the boy with us, he will die as soon as he sees the boy is not with us, for his heart is bound up with him. Then your servants will have sent your servant, our father, down to Sheol with his white head bowed in grief. Now, your servant went surety to my father for the boy. I said, if I do not bring him back to you, let me bear the blame before my father all my life. Let your servant stay then, as my lord's slave, in place of the boy. I implore you, and let the boy go back with his brothers. How indeed could I go back to my father and not have the boy with me? I could not bear to see the misery that would overwhelm my father. Joseph makes himself known. Then Joseph could not control his feelings in front of all his retainers, and he exclaimed, "Let everyone leave me." No one therefore was present with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. But he wept so loudly that all the Egyptians heard, and the news reached Pharaoh's palace. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father really alive?" His brothers could not answer him. They were so dismayed at the sight of him. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come closer to me." When they had come closer to him, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. But now, do not grieve. Do not reproach yourselves for having sold me here, since God sent me before you to preserve your lives. For this is the second year there has been famine in the country, and there are still 5 years to come of no plowing or reaping. God sent me before you to make sure that your race would have survivors in the land, and to save your lives, many lives at that. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. And he has made me father to Pharaoh, lord of all his household, and administrator of the whole land of Egypt. Return quickly to your father and tell him, your son Joseph says this, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me at once. You shall live in the country of Goshen, where you will be near me, you, your children, and your grandchildren, your flocks, your cattle, and all your possessions. I will provide for you there, for there are still 5 years of famine, and I do not want you to be in need, you and your household and all you have. You can see with your own eyes, and my brother Benjamin can see too, that it is my own mouth speaking to you. Give my father a full report of all the honor I enjoy in Egypt, and of all you have seen. Then hurry and bring my father down here." And throwing his arms round the neck of his brother Benjamin, he wept, and Benjamin wept on his shoulder. He kissed all his brothers, weeping over them, after which his brothers talked with him. Pharaoh's invitation. News reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come, and Pharaoh was pleased to hear it, as were his servants. Pharaoh told Joseph, "Say to your brothers, do this. Load your beasts and go off to the land of Canaan. Fetch your father and families and come back to me. I will give you the best the land of Egypt offers, and you shall feed on the fat of the land. And you, for your part, give them this command. Do this. Take wagons from the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Get your father and come. Never mind about your property, for the best the land of Egypt offers is yours." The return to Canaan. Israel's sons did as they were told. Joseph gave them wagons as Pharaoh had ordered, and he gave them provisions for the journey. To each and every one he gave a festal garment, and to Benjamin 300 shekels of silver and 5 festal garments. And he sent his father 10 donkeys laden with the best that Egypt offered, and 10 she-donkeys laden with grain, bread, and food for his father's journey. Then he sent his brothers on their way. His final words to them were, "Do not be upset on the journey." And so they left Egypt. When they reached the land of Canaan and their father Jacob, they gave him this report: "Joseph is still alive. Indeed, it is he who is administrator of the whole land of Egypt." But he was as one stunned, for he did not believe them. However, when they told him all Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to fetch him, the spirit of their father Jacob revived, and Israel said, "That is enough. My son Joseph is still alive. I must go and see him before I die." Jacob leaves for Egypt. Israel left with his possessions and reached Beersheba. There he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. God spoke to Israel in a vision at night. "Jacob, Jacob," he said. "I am here," he replied. "I am God, the God of your father," he continued. "Do not be afraid of going down to Egypt, for I will make you a great nation there. I myself will go down to Egypt with you. I myself will bring you back again, and Joseph's hand shall close your eyes." Then Jacob left Beersheba. Israel's sons conveyed their father Jacob, their little children, and their wives in the wagons Pharaoh had sent to fetch him. Taking their livestock and all they had acquired in the land of Canaan, they went to Egypt, Jacob and all his family with them, his sons and his grandsons, his daughters and his granddaughters. In a word, all his children he took with him to Egypt. Jacob's family. These are the names of Israel's sons who came to Egypt: Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben: Hanok, Palu, Hezron, Carmi. The sons of Simeon: Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, Merari. The sons of Judah: Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah, though and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And Hezron and Hamul, sons of Perez. The sons of Issachar: Tola, Huvah, Jashub, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun: Sered, Elon, Jalil. These are the sons that Leah had borne to Jacob in Padan Aram, besides his daughter Dinah. In all, his sons and daughters numbered 33. The sons of Gad: Ziphion, Hagi, Shuni, Ezbon, Eri, Areli. The sons of Asher: Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, Beriah, with their sister Sarah. The sons of Beriah: Heber and Malchiel. These are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Leah. She bore these to Jacob, 16 persons. The sons of Rachel, wife of Jacob: Joseph and Benjamin. Born to Joseph in Egypt were Manasseh and Ephraim, children of Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. The sons of Benjamin: Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. These are the sons that Rachel bore to Jacob, 14 persons in all. The sons of Dan, Hushim. The sons of Naphtali, Jahil, Jazil, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. These are the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Rachel. She bore these to Jacob, 7 persons in all. The people who went to Egypt with Jacob, of his own blood, and not counting the wives of Jacob's sons, numbered 66, all told. Joseph's sons born to him in Egypt were 2 in number. The members of the family of Jacob who went to Egypt totaled 70. Joseph welcomes them. Israel sent Judah ahead to Joseph, so that the latter might present himself to him in Goshen. When they arrived in the land of Goshen, Joseph had his chariot made ready, and went up to meet his father Israel in Goshen. As soon as he appeared, he threw his arms around his neck, and for a long time wept on his shoulder. Israel said to Joseph, "Now I can die, now that I have seen you again and seen you still alive." Then Joseph said to his brothers and his father's family, "I will go up and break the news to Pharaoh. I will tell him, 'My brothers and my father's family who are in the land of Canaan have come to me. The men are shepherds and look after livestock, and they have brought their flocks and cattle and all their possessions.' Thus, when Pharaoh summons you and asks, 'What is your occupation?' you are to say, 'Ever since our boyhood, your servants have looked after livestock, we and our fathers before us.' And so you will be able to stay in the land of Goshen, for the Egyptians have a horror of all shepherds." Pharaoh grants an audience. So Joseph went and told Pharaoh, "My father and brothers, along with their flocks and cattle and all their possessions, have come from the land of Canaan and are now in the land of Goshen." He had taken 5 of his brothers, and he now presented them to Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked his brothers, "What is your occupation?" And they gave Pharaoh the answer, "Your servants are shepherds like our fathers before us." They went on to tell Pharaoh, "We have come to stay for the present in this land, for there is no pasture for your servants' flocks. The land of Canaan is hard pressed by famine. Now give your servants leave to stay in the land of Goshen." Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "They may stay in the land of Goshen, and if you know of any capable men among them, put them in charge of my own livestock." Another version. Jacob and his sons went to Egypt where Joseph was. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, heard of this and said to Joseph, "Your father and brothers have come to you. The country of Egypt is open to you. Settle your father and brothers in the best region." Joseph brought his father and presented him to Pharaoh. Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob, "How many years of life can you reckon?" "My life of wandering has lasted 130 years, Jacob told Pharaoh. "Few years and unhappy, falling short of the years of my fathers in their life of wandering." Jacob blessed Pharaoh and left Pharaoh's presence. Joseph settled his father and brothers, giving them a holding in the land of Egypt and in the best region of the land, namely the land of Ramesses, according to Pharaoh's command. Joseph provided his father, brothers, and all his father's family with food, according to the number of their dependents. Joseph's agrarian policy. There was no bread in the whole land, for the famine had grown so severe that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan were weakened with hunger. Joseph accumulated all the money there was to be found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, in return for the grain which men were buying, and he brought the money to Pharaoh's palace. When all the money in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan had run out, the Egyptians all came to Joseph. "Give us bread," they said. "Have we to perish before your eyes? For our money has come to an end." Joseph answered, "Hand over your livestock. I am willing to give you bread in exchange for your livestock if your money has come to an end." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and livestock, whether sheep or cattle, and for donkeys. Thus he fed them that year with bread in exchange for all their livestock. When that year was over, they came to him the next year and said to him, "We cannot hide it from my lord. The truth is, our money has run out, and the livestock is in my lord's possession. There is nothing left for my lord except our bodies and our land. Have we to perish before your eyes, we and our land? Buy us and our land in exchange for bread. We, with our land, will be Pharaoh's serfs. But give us something to sow, that we may keep our lives and not die, and the land may not become desolate." Thus Joseph acquired all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh, since one by one the Egyptians sold their estates, so hard-pressed were they by the famine. And the whole country passed into Pharaoh's possession. As for the people, he reduced them to serfdom from one end of Egypt to the other. The only land he did not acquire belonged to the priests, for the priests received an allowance from Pharaoh and lived on the allowance that Pharaoh gave them. Therefore, they did not have to sell their land. Joseph said to the people, "This is how we stand. I have brought you out with your land on Pharaoh's behalf. Here is seed for you so that you can sow the land. But when harvest comes, you must give a fifth to Pharaoh. The other 4/5 you can have for sowing your fields, to provide food for yourselves and your households, and food for your dependents." "You have saved our lives," they replied. "If we may enjoy my lord's favor, we will be Pharaoh's serfs." So Joseph made a statute, still in force today, concerning the soil of Egypt. A fifth goes to Pharaoh. The land of the priests alone did not go to Pharaoh. Jacob's last wishes. The Israelites stayed in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen. They acquired property there. They were fruitful and increased in numbers greatly. Jacob lived 17 years in the land of Egypt, and the length of his life was 147 years. When Israel's time to die drew near, he called his son Joseph and said to him, "If I enjoy your favor, please place your hand under my thigh and promise to be kind and good to me, and do not bury me in Egypt. When I sleep with my fathers, carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their tomb." "I will do as you say," he replied. "Swear to me," he insisted. So he swore to him, and Israel sank back on the pillow.